Okay, here we go. So it's been crazy hour. Thank you guys. I know it's probably crazy hour at your houses too. Thank you for popping on the call at the last minute. And yeah, this is our leader checkpoint. So normally we don't have this many Zooms in a month for leaders, but because given the nature and the importance of this month, I just have felt like it's helpful for us to like chit chat together, for me to relay what's going on with the team. So thanks for being on, guys. I really appreciate your commitment and your just your leadership and your gifts. I mean, you guys are all so awesome. I love that our team is just a rainbow of people with a lot of different gifts and talents, and just love that. So I was listening to Susie McCall and what's her husband's name? Susie. Anyways, the funny couple, Chris. There we go. They were sharing something on the Jules page, and they said, and this really struck me. They said humility and gratitude is what, I mean, if you possess those things and apply them to your Plexus business, you'll rock the socks off and you'll take it to the top. And I really appreciated them sharing that. And I'm thankful for all of you guys' humility and your thankfulness. Like, I just feel like we have so many just sweet leaders, sweet teammates. So I just wanted to share that too, because that spoke to me, just a reminder to me, but just in light of humility and gratitude, and that we will never arrive. Like, this is going to be a constant learning curve and growth curve. Can you guys all hear me okay? Feel so quiet on this end. So anyways, I'm just seeing some weak areas in myself and how I run my business and in my training to everyone on the team. And so I know that I was chatting with Abby Kappa and also Kim Rankin. She's an Emerald. And they were talking about being intentional in our businesses. And so there's a couple things that I felt like I needed to pop on and say. First of all, the month is going very well as a team. Like, we're doing really, really well. So we're basically breaking the month down into thirds. And so we've hit the first third of the month, and then we'll have our next chunk and then the last third. So there's a couple of things that I think that we need to talk about real quick. The first thing is back office. And this is something that I have not been intentional to do. Like, I'll go like a whole month without looking at my back office. I'm not as much, I mean, I do more now, but like in general, just not in my back office. But I'm seeing that it's really important to track. So if you guys haven't ever tracked your points, I would encourage you to start tracking them. You may not have to write them out every day, but even if you do like every 5 or 10 days, so you can track for yourself, like, where was I last month? So it's not like this big guessing game, and it will help you as you rank, because part of this business is numbers. And so wrapping your brain around the numbers is important. When people aren't numbers, but when we're looking at our back office, it is numbers. And this will really help us if we're intentional this way to have point cleanup. Even, I love that Abby Kappa has instilled a culture on her team. She said she started it this spring of point cleanup at the beginning of the month. So after everything has happened, all the craziness, you go back in, you set your detailed genealogy to the month before, and you start looking. You can sort by enrollment dates. You can see your new people. You can also sort by PV, and click it twice, and it'll hit the top PV down to, all the way down to 0. And you can see who, didn't have PV that should have, that normally goes through. You can sort it by your level 1, so you can see for your team, and then train your team to do it for theirs, so that you're gathering an older people. And it's good to start this now, while your teams, when you can see your teams in, a snapshot. You don't have to sift through pages and pages of people. And if we train our teams on this, then we'll be way more efficient, and it's going to better our businesses, because we're not losing people because, oh my goodness, their order got glitched and life is busy and they fall off the bandwagon, So I just wrote down to make lists and like qualify things. So maybe you want to one day look at your convenience order lists. Okay, who did not set up convenience orders? I think we just have to Hawkeye that more in order to be effective. And the sponsors that did not set convenience orders, hey guys, we need to be reaching out to those people, because it's not all about business. It's also about the people having results on the products. because the statistics are there. And to me, the statistics are like, oh my word. It's almost 90% of people that do not set up a convenience order don't reorder. Like, that's insane. Probably most of the reason is, or a lot of the reason is because the sponsor is so insanely busy. They're out getting more people to try Plexus that they're not realizing that that person's order, wasn't set up to go automatically. So they forget to actually follow up and say, hey, we need to get your order in before the end of the month. Most people, if they've, I think if you have, reached out to those people, they would be like, oh yeah, I need to get on that. But that's the problem, is people fall off the bandwagon and then they don't come back. And we don't want people trying it for 1 month and then deciding, oh, Plexus didn't do anything for me. I tried it for 30 days. It's a waste. It's a waste of their money. It's a waste of our time, because we spend sometimes months or years encouraging people to try Plexus, and then we get them and then nothing. We just let them fall off after 1 month. Like, that's such a waste of time. Don't you think? Like, I was talking to Kim, and she said she's been, talking to her team about this, and like every day, just talking about convenience orders and the importance of them, and training on why they're important. But anyways, making those lists of people without convenience orders, 100, less than 100 PV people, 0 PV people, and then the glitched orders that normally would go through, but if you click on the order history, it's like says in red letters, this order has not been paid. Like, those people, if I am more intentional, and I'm assuming that you guys are way better at this than me, but I'm just being honest. I don't do that, and I should, especially certain times of the month.
Hey, Megan.
Yeah.
I just want to add too, I used to think that a lot of times that those red messages showed up because people didn't want their order, but I started following up with people and they were like, what? I wonder, where's my products? I wonder why I hadn't gotten a message. Or they get a new credit card, so they have to change their expiration date or the CVC code, and they don't realize it. I mean, sometimes people are like, yeah, I didn't want it to go through, but we don't know that. Like, I checked on 3 last month. 2 of them were like, yeah, I thought I was getting my product. Mm-hmm. So, I was able to help them, but I don't think we should just assume that people don't want it because it doesn't go through. We don't really know. That's why we do have to check those. It is, like you're saying, it is super important to check that.
And can I add one thing too? Whenever, and I was not doing this, I have just literally started doing this in the last 2 months, probably faithfully in the last month, but every time, and for some reason, I'm not always getting the emails of when I know the email sometimes is spotty, whether we get it. Regardless, I go in my back office daily and I look to see whoever is new, and I click on there to see if they have a convenience order. If they don't, I look and see who their sponsor is, and I am contacting the people, their sponsor, whoever I get a hold of, and let them know, okay, we need to get them their convenience order on, or we are creating a retail customer. So I feel like maybe that takes it just a step further, and it encourages. And a lot of times people are like, oh my goodness, they had a problem with it. They didn't have it, because sometimes that happens. People get confused and they think that it would automatically set up. So that's just one thought that I've tried to start doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think if we train our teams on this too, it's going to catch the runaway horse before it runs away from us, because it'll create a monster on our team. And we only have like a little bit over half of a convenience order across the board. Like, that percentage is not good. And like, I was going to tell the team, like, just on the team page sometime, like, I'm an A student, like, that's important to me. And so to get a 60%, like from Logan, I get the report, that's not okay. Like, that's bad. And I see other teams and they have like 75, 80, 85, 90%, like convenience order rates. Like, that's huge. And we can't project points too. Like, if you're wanting to rank up the next month, you can't project points if you don't have convenience orders set up, because if half of your people do, you can only project points off of half that your team recruited. And I like that Abby said that they started saying, so your team added 7, that's awesome, but only 4 had convenience orders, so you really only added 4. And just looking at the reality of it, that's the reality. So okay, all these people are trying but not retaining. Yeah. So it's almost like people go after the goal of, oh, I signed an ambassador, but it's like they're not they're not having that conversation, that prep conversation, which if you have that conversation after, it's a lot harder than if you have it on the front end. Like, this is what you're committing to. And if people aren't willing to commit, they need to be a retail customer. As hard as that is for us, especially for me, to tell someone that that's what they need to be, because I always want people getting like the best price. But if they're not committed, they need to be a retail customer. And then once they love Plexus and decide they want to continue after 1 month, then they can upgrade to preferred customer or, do the wholesale. Another thing with your back office, when you sort by PV and click it twice, it'll show your top PV people. And I would just remind everyone to really praise your people. Give them personal shout outs. If that means you send them a quick, like takes 10 seconds, seriously, to send someone a shout out. Like, hey, I noticed you're at the top of our team, or you were in one of the top 5 or 10. That is so huge for people. No matter, even if their PV was not much over like commission qualified, if that's the highest on your team, praise it, and do it publicly too, like do it on their wall. Because people, their network starts to see that, and that is like third-party validation for their network to see them being successful. And that's huge. That's huge for them and their confidence levels too. Like everyone, I think that's just something that I would need to get better at, is the praise and recognition thing. So, okay, number 2 is convenience orders. So it's not necessarily us leaders on this call, it's the team's deeper levels where they're not getting the training, they're not getting the verbiage, they're maybe not sure what to say. And usually when people don't set up a convenience order, it's maybe the person that signed up is confused about it, like Lisa said, they think it'll set up automatically, or the person signing them isn't using the correct wording. So I think Reds say it real cut and dry, and that's it. Like, we're commanding them. Basically, you need 2 things. Like Amy's video is awesome, and I totally track with that. You need 2 things. You need a convenience order, you need your welcome pack. Those 2 things. Make sure you have them. Jessica, I think it was Jessica, someone reminded me, different color personalities may say it a different way, or they may feel like they need to be, nurturing or more, more chatty about it. But sometimes when you use too many words, people get confused and they start to like backpedal, like, oh my word, I don't know about all this. What am I joining? What am I signing up for? And so I think that helping people know what to say, and also encouraging people to sign up their people over the phone. I do that almost all the time now. The people that I don't sign up over the phone, we have problems. And then if they go MIA on me, there's nothing I can do. Versus if I sign them up, or if I'm walking them through it and explaining, then it totally trains them to train someone else on how to do it, because they will duplicate how I sign them up. And so if the sponsor is not having people set up the convenience order, usually it's a lack of belief in the company or the products, or it's a fear. Maybe they're afraid of someone thinking something or other. And so, yeah, the no commitment thing that's the biggest issue. So the goal is not to just sign up, but it's to retain and to ask for that 3-month commitment on the front end of it. And like, you're setting their expectation. They're basically getting you as a coach. And so I think helping our people like understand how to present that to someone and to ask the right questions, because it's really a matter of asking questions. Justin always says, I have to ask the questions, and they basically qualify themselves. And then I tell them, okay, well, you qualify for, preferred customer, or you qualify for a wholesale ambassador. You want your whole family on it, and you can reiterate to them, and you've verbalized that you're willing to give this 3 to 6 months. So I think that you can definitely qualify. And so Abby Kappa, she's now the youngest diamond in Plexus, she said this spring, so basically the whole last year was like insane in Plexus. Like, we've gone through hard stuff, and some of you have been on the team for a couple of years, so we went through like the back office apocalypse and crazy shipping issues. And then last year was just like so plateaued. Everyone was plateaued or pedaling backwards. And so I think that was a huge morale deflator. And so one thing that Abby said that they started doing was just being super intentional in the back office, stalking what's going on, convenience orders, and the making sure people's orders were going out and catching those glitched ones. Because when you are gold, 5 people is a big deal. When you're ruby, 15 people is a big deal. I mean, and that helps everyone. Like, it helps people be successful in the product so they love them, so they're consistent and see results. But it also helps everyone's businesses because you're claiming those points that are yours to have. You're just not getting paid off of them because the orders were glitched or, you know, whatever happened. And I totally agree with Angie that we have to assume that they want the products. And so it's our job to follow up with them, because I had the same thing happen. I assumed my friend Diane that she didn't want the products, and in reality she contacted me 2 weeks later. She's like, hey, where's my Plexus order? Like, it never came. And I was like, oh my word, I thought you didn't need it or didn't want it. That's why I didn't go out. That's why I didn't have PV.
It's that head trash. We think in our minds, they don't want us to contact them, they don't want the products, but they committed to signing up. So I mean, I kind of feel like it is our job to do a little bit of follow-up and just, you know, see what they, if they're wanting to get the price. And if they're not, then that's totally, obviously that's fine.
Yeah.
But we convince ourselves that they don't want the product, so we don't reach out to them. I mean, I'm super guilty of that.
And it's good customer care. And like, they're not going to offend us if they tell us that they don't need the products. Like, it's no pressure thing. We're just checking in. Kind of like asking someone if they're interested in trying Plexus or interested in learning more. It's basically looking for an open door. You're just asking the question, if you do need products this month, yours was glitched. Didn't know if you realized that. People are busy. They don't have time to check their back office, right? So I did want to speak on the A word for a minute, and that's attrition. And so, like, May Darling teaches, she talks about attrition being like the bathtub. There's always water coming in, and then there's always water coming out. We want the water coming in, you know, more full than the water that's trickling out. That's just the nature of this business. You're going to have people that try it and then don't stick with it. So a couple of things that I had written down to really help that. The number one thing is to sign up people on the phone and duplicate that down, because it does a couple things, but it trains your people. And two, it minimizes frustration. I can't tell you how many times I've went in to place an order for someone and I've had issues. So honestly, I just basically take down all their info and I'm like, okay, I'll give you a call when, you know, once I get it through, or, you know, I'll send you this stuff once I put that through, because sometimes the system is wonky. Like, I can't not wait for our new back office so that we don't have these weird glitches. But for people that are used to Amazon, used to like fast order online and I'm done, it can be frustrating if you keep getting bumped back to the last page and it won't accept your address or whatever goofy thing is happening. And don't be afraid to do it for them. I've found that if I'm more bold and saying, hey, I'm happy to do it for you right now, you want me to just get it done for you? And they'll be like, oh, sure. Because otherwise you're doing that dance of waiting. Hey, I'm checking back in to see if you were ready to place your order. You'll save yourself time if you just say, hey, I'm happy to do it for you right now. I'm at my computer, and just put it in for them. And the number two thing is to teach what to say. And so this is something that Abby Kappa does consistently, is she teaches her team what to say. Like, she puts different wording, which I'm not into using scripts, but I think some people are so like they have no idea what to say, or they're wondering what we're saying to people. And so it really helps train them. And like, this is what I said, which you need to put it in your own words, but have the basic gist of this. And so getting better on wording is something I think we can all do better at, and we can train our teams to do that. And it's really, that's kind of an easy fix, really. I love Carissa Casey's wording videos, so those ones would be good to send your teams. So okay, we already kind of talked about this, but Red saying just basically wham bamming it like it is. I would be kind of curious how you yellows that are successful at getting people to set up convenience orders, if you have different wording or if you have a different softer approach, then you need two things. Welcome back convenience order, make sure you do it, or I will be contacting you. Because I think sometimes our color personalities come through, but we all should still be successful at signing people up, because really they're not an ambassador truly if they don't have their convenience order on. Then they're not set up for success. So also training your team to follow up with those people and the sponsors. That's so important. And like I think Lisa said, and also Justin said, if they're not willing to set up a convenience order, they're a retail customer. So those are just some things I felt like were really important. When I go back through, sometimes I Hawkeye stuff, And I've decided, I was like, oh man, I don't want to annoy my team by like reaching out to everyone. But then I decided, you know what? We're not setting up people for success. Your teams deserve to be set up for success. Your people do. So it's our job really as leaders to be willing to go through and check those things for our teams. So, okay, cool. Well, next week is the inflammation incineration challenge, which I'm super excited about. Lisa and Angie are going to be leading that, and that starts Monday. And there'll probably be a video up on Sunday night just to kind of explain the group and how we're gonna utilize it. But one thing I really wanted to remind everyone is I was surprised when I went to add one of my silvers. Like there are leaders in there that were not added yet, which I didn't go through like in normal 7-day challenges and add all the leaders because I want everyone to be commission qualified in order to get in the group and make sure that they have their products. So I basically left it up to everyone to see that was what we're offering this month, and for the teams to utilize it, because really it's just a tool. You're not required to use this challenge, but it will help grow your teams because you have a reason to reach out to your white lines, to your people that order less than 100 PV, to your newbies, to the people that join you this month, to encourage them to try this with us, and that will help them get commission qualified for you for points as well, because they'll get 100 over their welcome pack. So definitely I would recommend, like, it's great to post stuff in your chat threads, but not everyone pays attention to that, or they're busy throughout the day and they may not see it. And so inviting your people personally, like seriously, you could record a 10 or 15 second little invite and not make it personalized. You wouldn't have to say, hey, Amber. You could just, do a quick voice clip, and then you can forward it to all your people. And that would be a really, really fast way to do. Like, hey, are you in the incentive challenge or inflammation challenge? Just want to make sure. Can't wait for you to, do this with us. Super excited. And then send it out. That's something that Jessica taught me, and I was like, that's brilliant. It'll save time. Okay. And then the last thing I just wanted to share really quick